Hey bro, you wanna collab?
This is the MXL 440. Now the MXL 440 is not a bad mic by any means. What it is the epitome of mass-produced, made-in-a-factory, modern-day budget mics. So why don't, I figured, I try to modify it to sound better.
So I did the work.
This is Lill. He has, among other things, proved that 1. The only thing that matters to a solid body electric guitar tone is the pickup and where the pickup is placed. 2. Fender, Marshall, and Vox amps can all sound the exact same if you play with the EQ long enough. And 3. Having no amp backplate sounds about the same as having an amp backplate. That's about the best I can put it. But in my opinion, his greatest feat so far has been proving that apparently the only thing that matters to a microphone's sound is the capsule. No, not that capsule! Make no mistake, Jim was really cooking with this video. He took a capsule that was hand-built to be like one from a C12, a legendary mic. You can see it in the We Are the World video. And the rest of the circuitry came from the MXL 440. He soldered them together, stuck them in a pop can, tested it against the actual mic, and there wasn't no difference at all. So according to this logic, all I really need is an MXL 440, which I now have, and a good capsule. And this is the Mic Parts RK12. A little bit better view for you. This is the same capsule that Jim used, so with it, I should be able to get this mic sounding like a $10,000 mic. Right? Let's find out. Okay, let's see if I can narrate in real time. So we're going to unpack everything first. Here's the capsule. Here's the mount that goes inside the mic. Let's see if I can get the tape off. There we go, opening it up. You can see the 2 wires. Actually, there's 3 wires because you can wire it up in multiple polar patterns. Now, I don't dare touch the capsule right now, so let's get the mic open. Screw it off the base. Sliding off the cover. Here you can see the circuitry. Boards all on one side. There are the wires that go to the XLR jack. Here's the plate protecting the capsule. With a screwdriver, it should come off pretty easily. And there it is. That's the stock capsule of the MXL 440. So here is how the mic looks with no covering at all. Capsule looks kind of like an old, I want to say a fire alarm. I don't know why it made me think of a fire alarm. Anyways, here's the saddle. So they have 2 saddles. There's a flexible saddle, and then there's the rigid super saddle. We're only going to need the super saddle. First though, we have to get the old capsule out. We'll have to desolder it, so I can't do it now, but I can at least show you how the new capsule will fit. Such a weird design. Anyways, I'm unscrewing the old saddle. And now it's loose. So the new one will fit in just like that. As you can see, this capsule is kind of small. That's kind of a trend for budget mics. The new one is much bigger. Okay, I'm going to take it to the luthier and have him put in the new capsule. So here we are with the luthier. Now I had to mute this part because there was a lot of noise in the background. But yeah, here he is desoldering the old capsule and dragging it out. Here he is with the new capsule. You can see the 3 wires. Here we are poking the holes for the screws to go into. I was really nervous. I know you're not supposed to touch the plating on the capsule, but yeah. Here we are fitting it in. Obviously, I couldn't show me screwing in the screws for the saddle, but yeah, there it is. I really was holding it about as gingerly as possible. And here we are soldering the capsule into place. Now, I wanted him to cut the wires as short as possible, but he didn't. Whatever. This really is a quick job. The setup takes way longer. Final soldering here. And here is the finished product. Okay, well, almost. You know how I mentioned earlier there was 3 wires? Well, we don't need this wire because this is just a cardioid mic, so we superglued a piece of, I don't know what that is, to, what's the word? Insulate. To insulate it. Got me a new carrying case for it, and now I got me a mic with a shiny new capsule. Now why don't we just hear for ourselves how it sounds? Hey guys, it's me, on the MXL 440 of all mics. First recording with the new mic. No pop filter, gotta be careful. A lot of noise. Don't know if that's natural or from the mic. Okay, yeah, it was from the AC in the background, so no worries. Now here's a few introductory mic tests I did. First, here's one I recorded with the stock 440 capsule, featuring a surprise guest. And then you'll hear the new capsule. And I'll put them back to back afterwards. And I'll start with the SM7B, which is what I'm using now, but I'll take off all the effects that I've been using on it. Just little stuff like declick, BX refinement, and a little bit of compression. So for reference, I've been speaking on the SM7B this whole time. And this is how my voice sounds on the MXL 440. Just for a little bit more of an audio sample, I'm gonna read some specifications. The frequency response is 30 Hz to 20 kHz. The polar pattern is cardioid. The impedance is 200 ohms. The sensitivity is 15 millivolts per pascal. The signal-to-noise ratio is 80 decibels. The equivalent noise is 20 decibels. The max SPL for 0.5% THD is 130 decibels. The power requirement is of course 48 volts. And the weight is 1.2 pounds. And just for a little more fun, here's my voice on the Behringer C1, another cheap mic. So far I'm not really sure what to think. The mic definitely feels a bit more open now. I tested it against a U87 at work, and it actually did sound a little better. Quieter though. There's not too many tech specs of the RK12, but I'll read you a few. Capsule diameter, 34 millimeters. Diaphragm diameter, 27 millimeters. Capsule depth, 12.4 millimeters. Membrane composition, 3 micron mylar sputtered with gold. It's definitely a little bigger than the stock capsule. Okay, still figuring things out here. If you hear a little bit of a slight 60 cycle hum in the background, there was a fluorescent light on in another part of my house, and apparently that was bad enough. None of the other mics are affected by it. This one is just that sensitive. Okay, now a quick back-to-back, and then I'll stop clickbaiting and get to the actual title. The sensitivity is 15 millivolts per pascal. Membrane composition, 3 micron mylar sputtered with gold. I'ma be real, there's not much difference, bro. What are we doing? Okay, yeah, there's not much difference. It still sounds like me, unfortunately. Okay, but now what you've all been waiting for? The heavyweight throwdown between this new modded mic and the Tube Mojave MA200.
And speaking of, here is the $1,100 Mojave MA200. Here it is. A little bit of a dust cover on it.
Okay, so we're going to be recording some acoustic guitar and maybe a little vocals. I got everything set up in my recording booth here. Now, I figured that there'd be a greater difference between 2 performances than 2 inches, so I figured it was more important to capture the same performance than to put the mics in the exact same position. I tried highlighting them in this video, but the lighting wasn't that great, so I took a picture instead, and here you can see where I placed them. They are probably about 10 to 12 inches away from the guitar. Now, what would have been nice is if I'd remembered to record the guitar with the stock capsule versus the new capsule. Sorry, but this test was really supposed to be the new capsule versus the MA200 anyways. And that's why I'm not really worried too much about it sounding not that different from the stock capsule, even though it is surprisingly not that different. I guess the 440 really isn't that bad of a mic. But anyways, let's begin with the straight up acoustic guitar recordings. Here's a quick little back-to-back. What I'm noticing so far is that the MA200 has a little bit of a ring in the top frequencies. It feels like some spikes, like a few high frequencies are just spiking up. Meanwhile, the 440 is more rounded, and nothing's really jumping out. I like that. Yeah, I'm really liking the sound of the modded 440. How about we simulate some processing? Things that I would most likely do to this signal in a mix? The first thing I would put on it is BX Refinement, one of my favorite plugins. It tames those nasty sharp frequencies in the high mids. Now here's the settings that I put on it. I might have gone a little overboard, but the thing is I can always dial back the highs with the presence knob or with an EQ, but I can't deal with that harshness. Okay, and now for some false stereo. And finally, some compression. Now, I learned from Adam Young to over-compress acoustics, so I just slapped some leveling tool on them. Here are the settings, let's hear it. See, the thing is, right now, the MA200 might sound a little bit better. Those kind of sparkling highs sound nice, but in a mix, I've found that they start to just build up. You know, in a lot of mixes, you add a lot of highs to a lot of sounds. And I'm really looking forward to dealing with the more neutral tone of the modded 440. But let's be real, they both sound good. Now, I took the liberty of recording my shaker as well. Hey, the 200 might actually be better for that. And I'm the world's worst singer, but I figured I kind of have to do at least a little vocal test. They see me mowing my front lawn. I know they're all thinking I'm so white and nerdy. You know what? Let's get a real vocalist on the track.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, Lord. And I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh, Lord. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
And now, of course, a back-to-back.
Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Can you feel it coming in the air tonight?
Special thanks to Miss Yadi from Omilasa. Fun fact, we ended up going with the SM7B for her voice. It was definitely more apparent when she belted, but the MA200 just brought out more of those squeaky frequencies in her voice that just don't sound good. The 440 tamed those. The SM7B tamed them even more. Okay, so what did we learn? Not much, except I have a very annoying voice, and BX Refinement is my best friend. But I'm kinda happy with this new mic. This factory manufactured turned handmade microphone. Also, I feel like it's important to note that almost certainly I would mix these mics differently. The whole plugin test thing was really just for curiosity's sake mostly. And really this just emphasizes the point that I've made several times, which is you gotta have a good sounding room and you gotta have a good performance. If you get those two right, you'll be well on your way to a good recording, as long as you have something better than like a snowball. Anyways, I wanted to say sorry this video took so long. It's currently midnight. I'm probably gonna have to go back and patch up some holes with some more narration. But for now, I sleep. Good night. I leave you with the sound of the two recordings being phase cancelled or polarity reversed or however you say it. Basically, I flipped the phase of one of them. This will show how similar the signals really were.